Recently, there's a viral video circulating on the internet, social media feeds, of what would appear to be a young Ukrainian woman having her throat slit or stabbed on a light rail in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a black man who is homeless. Been arrested multiple times, they say. And on first viewing, it's a tragic and horrific video. But upon further inspection, when you remove the knee-jerk emotional response that every human would have automatically, there are things that make you question. If when you watch the video you remove the emotion from it and you slow it down and inspect what's claiming to be done. You pause the video on frames. You zoom in on frames. There's no cuts on the young woman's neck. There's no stab wounds on either side of the neck or the front of the throat. Now, why would anyone want to fake a video like this? There's also a frame in the video where the young woman's ear is no longer up here, but is turned sideways and down on the jawbone, here on the jawline, completely flipped sideways. Now the video appears to be, from what I can tell, AI. What purpose would anyone have to fake outrage bait? All across my social media feeds is just that, outrage. People saying grown men crying when they see it. Racism. There's people claiming that the guy said, "Oh, I got that white bitch," after he stabbed her. To further heighten the emotional response, human response that's elicited when you see something like this. But you've got to ask yourself, what purpose is served? If indeed it's not real, which I don't think it is, because like I said, I inspected the video. What end does this serve? Who would even do such a thing? To fake something like that and put it across the internet. Well, we are at war. It's not with each other. It's not with your neighbor. It's not with the homeless person living on the street who has decided to opt out of the system because it's rigged against us. Not that that's a wise choice, but one could understand why they'd make that choice. Who is served by this? Our enemies, communists, infiltrators, who seek to further divide our nation. Now, if we're all busy fighting each other, having race wars in the streets and all this they're trying to invoke, we'd be way too busy to notice when the enemy comes in. It sure would make easy pickings for someone who wanted to invade or conquer America, or get a lot of us to kill each other off, so that there'd be less people that they'd have to fight to take it over. This is sickening. This is disgusting. They're trying to take advantage of people's natural human emotional responses, to take advantage of people's better nature and turn that better nature to your worst nature. Anytime I see a video or a post or anything that elicits a knee-jerk emotional response, it really makes me question. And it should make you question too. I immediately remove all emotional attachment from what I'm seeing. Pull yourself back from it a little. And look objectively at what you're seeing. Inspect it. Just think critically. Ask yourself logical questions. And then slow the video down or pause it to see if what you're seeing is actually what you're seeing, or if it's AI, or if it's a staged event. Now this video does appear to be AI, because a human ear doesn't magically get transferred down to your jawbone and twisted sideways. I go on my social media feed, and it's full of people saying grown men cried when they watched the video thinking of their daughters. A knee-jerk, emotional, human reaction to seeing something so tragic and awful. Now, when you have a reaction like this, that's an emotional reaction, you start making decisions. You start basing decisions that you make every day around things like this. And once you make a decision based on emotion, it's very difficult for any amount of logic to sway that decision, to turn it around. This is subversion by the enemies of America. Now I know for most people, when they see something like this, it's hard to detach yourself emotionally from it. Especially something so visceral. But it's important that you do. Because a lot of times, something like that is a weapon. It's a weapon being used against all of us. We are under attack, and have been for a while now. And most people are so caught up in the emotion of it, in the moment when they see it, to catch it. But it's important that we do. Now, if that really happened to a person, it'd be tragic. And the person that did such a heinous act should be given the death penalty. But the same way that they used 9/11 to bring in the Patriot Act to get Americans to go along with things that they would otherwise not agree with, not agree to giving up their freedom and privacy and liberty. After 9/11, everyone just gave in and said, of course we have to pass it. We must. And I'm sure there'll be something like coming after this that will be used as justification to infringe upon our God-given rights, inalienable rights. They had the Patriot Act sitting around waiting for the right crisis to be able to get Americans to demand it for their safety. These things are tragic. Sad to see this happening in America. And I hope that you take these things that I've said and you think about them a little. And the next time you see something that elicits that knee-jerk emotional response, you take a moment to pull yourself back out of it. Pull your emotions out of it and just ask yourself, is this real? Is this what I'm seeing? Because you just might find that there's some things in there that don't make sense. They say this AI is so great, it's going to take all of our jobs. It's so much smarter than any person could ever be. But everything that I've seen from it so far, I'm not seeing that. It gives people extra fingers. It messes up an ear. There's little glyphs. There's little glitches. But if you watch the video with your emotions involved, you don't see those things because you're not watching it that closely. Oh my God, so much blood. Oh my God, did you see her? She was terrified. Emotional. I hope you take these things that I've said and you think on them a little. And the next time something like this pops up, you ask yourself some questions. And you take a moment to inspect what you're seeing. Inspect the minute details of it. There's no stab wounds on her neck, the right side or the left. There's no slice wounds on the front. And she passes out within a minute or so of the thing happening, allegedly. But you'd have to lose a lot of blood before you lose consciousness. And that just wasn't apparent in the video. I didn't see it. Also, when she falls over in the seat, there's already a puddle of blood underneath of her in the seat. But how would the blood be puddled underneath of her when she was sitting there? Also, when she hunches over and appears to pass out, she's leaned up against the side of the car and then rolls her body down in between the seat and the divider so that she's hidden away from view of the camera. And it's not until she's hidden away from view of the camera that suddenly there's just so much blood. But if someone was stabbed in an artery, every time your heart beats, it would be shooting blood. I've known people who had had their throat slit previously in life across the front, and they lived. They had a scar. And they did say it bled quite a bit, but it didn't hit an artery, and they lived. If you were to be stabbed in the artery, the blood would be coming out immediately. And with every heartbeat, like I said, it would be splooshing, squirting out almost. It'd be everywhere. And that's not what happens. Now, before we get emotionally wound up about something, it's important to look at these details. Because it might not be what you think it is. It might be something that's being used against you as a weapon. Like so many other things that have happened in this world, in this country. We are in unrestricted warfare. That means that everything, anything, can be turned around and used as a weapon against us. Our human instincts, our base instincts, everything, unrestricted. There is no limits. So before people get all riled up with this stuff, just take a moment. Pull yourself back from it. Look at it objectively. And then use your critical thinking skills that the good Lord gave you. And make your decision from there, after careful inspection. Thank you for watching, and I hope you take a moment to give these things careful consideration.